Kansas State just got some great news on the in-state recruiting trail.
You are Locked On Kansas State, your daily podcast on the Kansas State Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on in to Locked On Kansas State, your daily Kansas State Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Christian Rao, and thank you so much for making Locked On Kansas State your first listen every single day. Welcome back to my everydayers, and welcome back for the second time if this is your second listen for the afternoon episode of Locked On Kansas State. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We are bringing you free and available Kansas State coverage every single day like no one else. So be sure to join the journey as we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we're almost there. It just keeps ticking closer and closer, and it's super exciting. We got an excellent episode for you today, diving into the college football landscape yet again, talking about some recruiting, a little bit of recruiting, if you will, and we got some great news on the Kansas State side. Before we do that, though, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Well, Kansas State got some great news on Wednesday night, and it just gives us good feeling about what is possibly to come for next season. And I think the news couldn't have came at a better time if you listened to my rant this morning about the changes to college football and college athletics with the possibility of these roster sizes moving to 105. Will they not? Lots of cuts happening regardless. Well, Kansas State got some good news, and it is from an in-state recruit, and not only just any in-state recruit, the number one recruit in the state of Kansas, Ian Premer, lists Kansas State as a finalist for where he will take his talents to next season. Again, a number one player in the state of Kansas from Great Bend, 6'6", 230 pounds, and another tight end, possibly to arguably the best tight end room in the country. Could be absolutely insane. The other four teams in his top five, well, Kansas is one of them as well. Iowa State makes the list, and then two others that are not in the area, if you will, Notre Dame and Michigan. So that is the five right there. Excellent kid. Had an opportunity to listen to. He went on KCSN last night to drop his final five and discussed his reasoning behind it as well. Now, according to 24/7, he's the 39th top player in all of college football when it comes to the class of 2026. On3 has him as 39th as well. Rivals is just completely out of the blue. Had no idea what Rivals is doing and has him listed as the 115th ranked prospect. And ESPN 300 has him at number 60. This would be an excellent addition for Kansas State. An already dangerous tight end room. You're talking about bringing in Lincoln Cure this year and Ian Premer the following year. It makes you think, oh man, maybe would they leave? Would that be something that would push him away? He talked about that on the show last night and said he actually loves that idea. He likes the idea of more competition in the room, the tight end room. Talked about how he already has a great relationship with Lincoln Cure. They talk all the time. Pretty incredible thing, knowing that is a possibility. Also talked about how he is from, drum roll please, a Kansas State family. And that's a really good feeling as well about where you're sitting. Kansas State obviously has a good relationship with him. He's been there multiple times. Even with the changeover to Luke Wells as the tight end coach, it sounds like the relationship is going great. The fact that he has the opportunity to be a Kansas State Wildcat and grew up going to Kansas State Wildcat games, things like that, you got to think that is a helpful advantage heading into this new cycle. And we'll find out very soon, most likely, when he will determine where he will go. I'm guessing we will get a answer probably sometime around Independence Day, July 4th weekend, maybe. And that's just a guess based on his finalist and his official visits for all of them. And I think this, once again, also has a huge advantage for Kansas State. Let me explain. Out of the five finalists, he will go to Michigan first on May 30th to June 1st. Then he'll head to Lawrence to check out the Jayhawks from June 6th to June 8th. His only weekday visit, all these are weekends, with the exception of his third visit from June 10th to June 12th is when he'll go to visit Notre Dame. Then he'll take a visit to Iowa State from the 13th of June to June 15th. And he will end his official visits with Kansas State on June 20th to June 22nd. He said he will make sure he will take all 5 visits. Said that as well in the conversation with KCSN last night on the episode. So that means, and in a world where recency bias is always a huge thing, right? You get to save the best for last. Means you can have the opportunity to have the biggest splash in the eyes of his process when he's making a decision. The most recent thing in the back of his mind will be what happened in Manhattan. That's an excellent feeling and a really cool idea. Hopefully happens for Ian Premer, and hopefully he becomes a Kansas State Wildcat. This kid is an athlete. I mean, a multiple sport athlete. Kansas State said they give him an opportunity to play both basketball and football. He decided he's going to focus just on football, but just tells you right there that he has an opportunity to play at the Power 4 level at multiple sports. And you kind of see that with his game too. When you look at some of his highlights, initially you look at how he played football when he shows like some of his earlier highlights, if you will. It's more of a go and get it kind of ball, just a jump ball kind of basketball style, which is still athletic as crap. It's still really exciting. It is very, very athletic, but you're starting to see some more of that development already increase where he's stretching the field, showing some speed, showing some separation, utilizing him not only in the slot or on the outside for passing. They're seeing some plays from him from the backfield as well. So just some really exciting things from Ian Premer. Now, those are 4 other teams that have a great opportunity at also grabbing him as well. And although I think that the Lincoln Cure situation, according to him, is not a big deal, I think you have to think in the back of your mind that it still possibly could. You're going into a class that you are going to be behind, most likely, already a top player in the system. And then you go ahead and do you want to do that? Do you want to do that? Is the competition really that important to you? I hope so. Because maybe his ultimate goal is to make it to the NFL. And if one thing Kansas State has proven over the past few seasons is they know how to get tight ends to the NFL. And they showcase their tight ends as well. Kansas, Notre Dame, Michigan, Iowa State, they don't have the type of pedigree that Kansas State can prove when it comes to the tight end room. I might not be able to say that compared to some of those other programs I just mentioned for every other position group, but I can most definitely say that when it comes to the tight end room. Ian Premer would be a great asset to Kansas State. He would probably have an immediate impact right away, even with as dangerous as a tight end room this room will most likely be next season with Lincoln Cure and others. So pretty exciting from what we are possibly getting in the future. Again, we'll let you know what we hear more from Ian Premer in the future. But again, his final official visit will be with Kansas State, June 20th to 22nd. So just with a wild guess, after saving the best for last, is I'm guessing maybe around July 4th, we might get a decision or a process of where he will go. One thing he did say, just like Lincoln Cure, is that he would not be an early enrollment if he was to commit wherever he does commit. He wants to play basketball his senior year of high school, and I'm all for that. I think that's great. You only get to be a senior in high school once, right? And I think most coaches should be able to be more than okay with that. And we know Coach Kleiman is, because Lincoln Cure is doing the same exact thing. All right, let's dive into more great news when it comes to either future Wildcats. In this case, we're going to go former Wildcats. The NFL draft starts tonight, and there are multiple Kansas State Wildcats that should hear their name called over this weekend. Let's talk about that next, right here on Locked On Kansas State. This episode of Locked On Kansas State is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action right now. When you join FanDuel for the first time and place your first $5 bet, you'll get a $250 in bonus bets if that bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team, diving into player props, three-pointers, steals, assists, you name it. FanDuel has so many ways to bet on your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into the same game parlay for a chance to win big. So don't miss out now. Head up to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. That's FanDuel.com. Welcome back to Locked On Kansas State, your daily Kansas State Wildcats podcast. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. We are just growing on this channel, and it is so fun to see. And I have truly enjoyed all the comments that I've got over the past few days as well. That's growing as well. I'm getting a lot of notifications from the channel, and it's so exciting to see. It's fun. I feel like every time I pick my phone up, I got a new either question, comment, something on a video, and it's fun responding back to you folks. So thank you so much for that. Keep that coming in. All right, the NFL draft begins tonight, and at least 3 former Kansas State Wildcats should hear their name called over the weekend. You want to put 4 in it? Let's do it. We could definitely say 4 if you include former Kansas State Wildcat quarterback Will Howard, who played for Ohio State last season. I think we're going to get at least 4 names that are called this weekend. And I think the one that goes first is Jacob Parrish. That's personally my opinion. But before we get into Jacob Parrish and some of the other Kansas State Wildcats, I want to dig into DJ Giddens. On Tuesday morning, he had an interview at the end of the episode on NFL Network from Good Morning Football. And he spoke with him, who, in my opinion, is probably the biggest running back lover of all sports personalities when it comes to NFL personalities, Kyle Brandt. I mean, he wears angry run shirts, which I assume at one point in the next few seasons we'll probably get a DJ Giddens angry run shirt, which will be easily bought by myself as soon as it goes on sale. Called him an angry runner right off the bat, but said also has the shake. So shows he's already got some versatility. Kyle Brandt loves DJ Giddens' game. And asked him a few questions. It wasn't a very long interview. It was something just to get in the show, I guess, but it was awesome just seeing him be able to talk about his game on a national level just days before the NFL draft. And I think the biggest things that I took from it was the comparisons that they talked about with former NFL players, and then what DJ Giddens wants to make sure that people know about him heading into the draft. And the biggest thing was DJ Giddens wants to be known as a 3-down back. And that's great because that shows that he has the opportunity to do so. I think he is a 3-down back for the record. And if he goes to the right spot, I think he could be a, dare I say, day one starter. I think he could if he went to the right spot. And there are a couple mocks that we're going to talk about here in just a minute. And I think out of one of those mocks, I think could be a day one starter in that with that team. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. But they asked him about other things. He said he wants to focus on catching the ball more. He's not afraid to get hit. We all know that as well. And then they kind of had a little bit fun towards the end. They said if you had to talk about a certain player that you watched growing up that you emulated your game from, who would it be? And he said he channeled his inner Emmitt Smith when he was a kid. And you can kind of see that. You can kind of see that aspect, especially when he runs between the tackles. But Kyle Brandt and some of the other hosts on the show talked about how they think he compares very well to a legend of the NFL game, and that is former running back Marcus Allen, former with the Raiders, that played with the team for quite some time. And just being in the same conversation with him is an honor. And I'm sure that absolutely felt great for DJ Giddens. But it made a lot of sense, actually, the comparison, the way that Giddens has his game and how Marcus Allen played as well decades ago. Just the fact that they're thinking that when you're making a comparison and you're saying this rookie running back reminds me of a Hall of Fame running back, that's exciting. That is super exciting. So lots of things to see down the road for DJ Giddens. I'm assuming that, and some of these mocks are thinking the same way as well, I'm assuming that we're going to see DJ Giddens go off the board on Friday. And I think we're going to get most of these players off the board on Friday and probably maybe one on a Saturday. Don't think we're going to have any first round picks this year, barring something crazy. But I think most of this action will happen on Friday for Kansas State alumni, if you will. The PFF mock came out and had a full 7-round mock, and it was mocking DJ Giddens to go with the 97th overall pick in the 3rd round to the Minnesota Vikings. And I don't really like this spot for him, but when you're in the 3rd round, it sounds like almost anything's wide open. And there are multiple teams who are looking for a running back this season. And PFF put, when they talked about the pick, said the Vikings already added a player like Jordan Mason as Aaron Jones' primary backup, but they should still be in the market for another running back. Giddens is a tremendous athlete and earned a PFF grade above 80 in both zone and man gap concepts in 2024. I mean, you're walking in there and being a running back 3, potentially the running back 2. I have no problem with you being a second running back your rookie year. And I think DJ Giddens could beat out Jordan Mason. I think that's definitely an opportunity for him that would make a lot of sense. And if that was the case, if you had to share some time with Aaron Jones, I wouldn't hate it. And you'd be able to build with JJ McCarthy as a Viking. In that case, I guess I wouldn't mind it. Aaron Jones is getting older. You would most likely have a path to become the everyday running back in Minnesota. So I guess I could see it. But here's the one that I really like. And ESPN Jordan Reed put out a 7-round mock draft as well. And just a few picks before the Vikings, with the 94th overall pick in the 3rd round, he has him going to the Cleveland Browns. And I think that if DJ Giddens went to the Cleveland Browns, he would be a day 1 starter from the get-go. And Jordan Reed put out, when he talks about Giddens here as his draft pick, he says, Giddens is one of my favorite backs in this class and could start early in Cleveland. Oh, you don't say. He is a patient runner who can make defenders miss in short areas. We saw what he did against Colorado. Those are going to be probably highlights you see on draft day when his name is called. I'm sure they're going to show him juking out Sanders. I'm sure they're going to show those things because those are some great highlights. But he's not just a great running back. He's a great pass catcher out of the backfield that not many people are talking about. And I think that he is going to turn out to be one of the biggest steals of the draft when it's all said and done. This running back draft class is seen as one of the most deep in quite some time. And I have seen a top 10 that has not involved DJ Giddens on it. And it is blasphemy, in my opinion. I personally think that he is the 3rd or 4th best running back in the group at the very minimum. And I've seen some where he's not even the top 10. When we do these redrafts down in a couple of years from now, they're going to say, why wasn't DJ Giddens drafted in the 1st round instead of just out or just inside the top 100? Crazy stuff as well. Let's dig into the other 3 Kansas State Wildcats and where they're sitting with the mocks as we wrap up this show right here on this beautiful Thursday afternoon at Locked On Kansas State. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Well, turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with the Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed. As easily as you stream your favorite TV shows, it's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. I think it's endless entertainment with this Fire Stick TV. 4K streaming, you can watch more than 1.5 million movies, TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and so much more. I'm into gaming. I love College Football 25. Don't get me wrong. And the fact that I don't have to have a huge console sitting on my desk is a great feeling. And it's just nice having that, just a controller and kicking some butt with Kansas State on College Football 25. And I'll have thanks to Fire Stick TV 4K devices for that one. So head to amazon.com/FireTV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller is required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, the second gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, first and second gen, and Fire TV Cube, third gen. Welcome back to Locked On Kansas State, your daily Kansas State Wildcats podcast. Talking with Ian Premer, going to the Final Five, Kansas State landing in there, and then switching places over to the NFL draft as that begins tonight. DJ Giddens could be the first that goes off the board, but I do think it's going to be cornerback Jacob Parrish, because in those latest mocks, Parrish has flown up the boards since the combine. He's had multiple top 30 visits, and I think he's going to be an absolute dog at the next level. I think many teams can see what he does, especially at the line of scrimmage, having the opportunity to play some man coverage and really just be able to be on an island and have the opportunity to do so at a very high level. It's going to be really exciting to see Jacob Parrish at the next level if he lands in the right spot. Have a couple of places where he might land as well. We'll see if those are the case. I really like Jacob Parrish's game. I really do. And I think I don't have to tell you that. I'm sure you like it as well. I think when it's all said and done, we're going to see Jacob Parrish be the first Kansas State Wildcat taken off the board. But it's only going to be probably a few picks before DJ Giddens. I think that's why we are seeing most of them happen on Friday. And that's fine. That's fine. There's no big deal with that. I have heard from multiple NFL insiders, NFL scouts, that there are not much of a difference from pick 12 to pick 55 when it comes to this NFL draft. And then there's not that big of a gap even from 55 to 90 when it comes to the talent. There's a lot of talent. I've heard the words that there's not a lot of superstars, but a lot of starters in this draft. So you're getting the meat and potatoes, if you will, in this one. And it fits the mold of a guy like DJ Giddens and Jacob Parrish because they're dogs. They're workhorses. They're perfect players for what this draft seems to represent this season. PFF is landing him with the 90th overall selection in the third round to the LA Rams. And their process, what they said during the pick was, despite being a bit undersized, Parrish is feisty, versatile, defensive back with a solid ball production, had 20 forced incompletions over the past 2 seasons, and and has great athleticism. He provides immediate inside and outside depth and special teams contributions with starting upside if he can clean up some techniques and discipline issues. Great. I think that's a really good. I couldn't agree more, to be honest with you. I think he could be a player that starts off on special teams and shines, does really well. And then I think he could also be a great nickel to start off. I think he could be a great cornerback 2, cornerback 3 to start off his rookie year. When you're picking him towards the end of the third round, that's not a bad place to be. And I also think he could immediately be your second corner as well, and then find a way to prove to be your star corner. Has the potential to be a CB1 in this game that plays on Sundays. There's no doubt about that. Jordan Reed, just like the Giddens pick, has him going just a couple picks before PFF with the 87th overall pick and in the third round to the Green Bay Packers. Reed says that Parrish is a tough physical corner who could be an immediate factor in Green Bay. He might be best suited as an inside corner in the NFL. And I agree with that as well, because he can play up front. He can play on the line of scrimmage. He's got great press. He's a dog. So I don't disagree with that whatsoever. He's had some top 30 visits, and I have seen some mocks of him sneaking into the second round as well. So 87, 90, we might be talking floor here with Jacob Parrish. This could be still a Friday pick, but we might be hearing his name a lot earlier. So if you're planning on watching the draft on Friday this weekend or on Thursday night, or the case may be, if you're trying to make sure you're sitting in your seat when Kansas State names are called, you might not want to leave on Friday. You might want to get comfy. Maybe order that pizza a little early, kick the lazy boy up, do what you got to do. Maybe have a couple nice sodas next to you so you don't have to get up, only for bathroom breaks, right? So, yeah, that's where they have Jacob Parrish possibly going. I think he goes earlier. I think Parrish is the first player that goes off the board in the NFL draft for Kansas State, including Will Howard, for the record. And I think he goes earlier. I want to say he goes in the 70s. He could go earlier than that. Like I said, I've seen mocks in the 60s, him sneaking into the second round. But I think he goes a little earlier than that. I think there's going to be a run on corners, and Parrish is going to be in that run. Marquise Siegel, they are predicting him to go in the 7th round, both PFF and ESPN, either to the Carolina Panthers or the Dallas Cowboys. Could be great additions either way. I personally think, hey, getting him to Dallas wouldn't be a bad thing. Already got a Kansas State connection in Dallas, but Carolina has a good path of working with the defensive backs that might need some development. And if you're getting drafted in the 7th round, that's obviously a possibility, right? And then Will Howard, got to talk about him, right? PFF thinks he's going to get drafted in the 4th round by the Seattle Seahawks. Could be an interesting pick with Sam Darnold just going in there for a few seasons. Could he be the heir apparent to Sam Darnold? Wouldn't be a bad fit. And then Jordan Reed has him going in the 5th round to the Las Vegas Raiders. Which one do you like better there? Howard to the Seahawks or Howard to the Raiders? I think I'm leaning Seattle a little bit on that side. We'll see. So there you have it. That's where we are hearing from some of these scouts, some of these insiders, if you will, where these former Kansas State Wildcats might possibly land this weekend in the NFL draft. I am going to be glued over there. I do another show as well called the 32 Blueprint that talks about so much stuff across the NFL. So if you are looking for more NFL coverage, you can check me out over on the 32 Blueprint. Just type in 32, the number, space Blueprint on YouTube, and you'll find that channel. It's just growing. We're just starting it off. And you can see some more NFL draft coverage over there this weekend. But that'll do it for this episode of Locked On Kansas State. And I thank you for making Locked On Kansas State your first listen today. For your second listen, check out The Portal Show. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes of the college football landscape. Find The Portal now on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you so much for listening. Please like the video. Please subscribe. And this has been Locked On Kansas State.